penny for a buck, and the money will go 50% to the winner and 50% to Society Hall, the Cancer Relief Fund, or Peyton's Pay It Forward Foundation. And if anyone wants to wear this, it's Devot, can you imagine? Anyway, speaking of the Cancer Relief Fund, we have a show coming up December 18th, John Chandler Trio, and we have to give special thanks to the San Luis Valley Health people because they are paying for John and his crew to come down here, and all the money will go to the Cancer Relief Fund. And if you're wanting to buy tickets, you should do it sooner over later because we've had people book like 40 tickets and 30 tickets and things like that, and John is so good. And anyway, and I'm going to speak for, that's on the 18th. And then on the 19th, if you've never been to the Green Spot for our Memories and Reflection evening, it's a pretty special evening. No shopping, but it's a celebration of people who have beat cancer, people who are battling cancer, and people who have lost the battle. And so my husband and I and my family, we provide the food and the drinks, and a lot of people bring desserts, and then people donate $10 and we light candles in memory of, and reflection. So it's a really special night, 5:30 to 7:38, and it's just really awesome. So I hope you can come to both. So, and then December 22nd, Max Gomez. And Max is another one who hasn't played here for quite a while, but he's fabulous. So certainly you'll have family in town by the 22nd that you don't know what to do, and you can come to the show. So, anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce my friend Terry McCartney. All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Birthday bash. And as Ruth was just talking about, there are so many great causes that are worthy of supporting in this community. And I'm going to talk about another one of those for a few minutes. As many of you know, Don and I, our daughter Heather, our dear friends Wendy and Dave Clemmer and Jana Pokop had this wild idea to start a nonprofit that would support singer-songwriters in our region. And I'm so happy to say that after a year and a half, we are off to a great start, thanks to so many of you. Last year, or this year in 2024, we were able to financially assist 8 artists in making new records. Now, those 8 artists are from Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas. 7 of those are almost complete or are complete. One's just getting started at a studio in Lubbock. But yeah, none of those projects existed a year ago and might not have made it out into the world without some financial assistance. So thank you for that. I would also encourage you to continue giving. We want to do at least that much in 2025, if not more. And we also want to get started on a couple other of our missions, which are to offer some educational workshops for working musicians on using social media, booking, songwriting, those kinds of things. And then our big project is to archive the music of this region. And that is a long-term project. It's going to take a while, but we want to get started. So we're asking you to continue to support live music. And you can visit us in the back tonight. We've got some T-shirts, some bandanas, and of course all Don's music. And then this very special thing we put together. We got permission from 15 different artists, and mostly they performed here at Society Hall, to create this video collection. And it's called The Accompanist because the thread running through all of it is that Don is playing one of his many stringed instruments in every performance. We watched it last night with friends, and there really is some magic happening there. It's very cool. So if you want to pick one of those up, you can come back and talk to myself or Heather at intermission. All of that money will go to Howlin Dog Music Group to support our mission. Okay, I think that's it. Except that I need to introduce this guy who's going to play music for you tonight. Don has been making so many of us smile for so long. He started playing music in the local bars and clubs at the age of 15, you know, before he should have ever been in a bar, but it worked. And for all those years, for many of those years, he's stayed pretty close to home, playing in Colorado and New Mexico. More recently, he's been venturing out to Texas and California and Oklahoma. But he always comes back to this place that he loves so deeply. And thank you for being here to honor that, to honor him on his 70th birthday. Wow. And this organization he helped create, both Howlin Dog Music Group and Society Hall. So without further ado, would you please help me welcome my friend, my husband, my everything, Don Richmond.
I thought Terry was going to lead it.
Terry, he won't lead the song. Where's the cake? Right? Y'all ready?
And there are lots and lots of cupcakes at intermission.
Glad you got numbers instead of 70.
And really, no kidding. Oh, you folks are just too kind. I mean, this is like, I feel like I stumbled into It's a Wonderful Life or something like that, you know. I mean, how sweet of you to be here. And thanks, of course, to Ruthie and Terry and so many friends for helping make this happen, and but most of all, for all of you. It's been a joy to live in this place, this San Luis Valley, for, you know, my family moved here in '62 when I was 7 years old, and I just never got around to leaving, you know. I mean, I leave, but only for a few days or weeks and come back, and it's been a joy to be here. So, you know, I thought it'd be fun to do a little kind of a retrospective journey through the years of making music in this place, and I've written a lot of songs about the valley, and you know, and of people here and things and places and all of that. So we'll do some of that, and you know, I mean, and I was thinking about what songs I wanted to play. It's like, oh, there's at least 100 songs that I'd love to play for you, and you'll be thankful to know that I'm not going to sing you 100 songs. You know, might be a couple dozen or something, but I'll do 2 sets, and we'll have cupcakes to get us through the second set. You know, and so I'm going to start out with a few songs from the band Tumbleweed, which. I was actually in a few bands before Tumbleweed. The first band was at a place called the Nine Eye. We were the house band at the Nine Eye. I don't know if anybody remembers where the Nine Eye was, but it was on Main Street, right across the street from the Rialto Theater, or the Thai House, as it's known these days, and or Thai Hut. I can't remember which. Anyway, and I was 15 years old. Illegal, I'm sure, but you know, I had long hair and I was tall, so nobody asked me any questions. And then I sort of graduated to the Goalpost for a couple of years, a couple of bands there, and then the Goalpost was moving to its location over on Denver Avenue, and a musician friend that used to play with my brother asked me, "Hey, you want to start a band for, you know, we'll play for a few weeks, a couple months maybe. There'll be a lot of people there. It's, you know, new location, and the college is just starting." And I said, "Oh, yeah, sure. I'd be happy to play for a couple of months." Well, Tumbleweed went on for 17 years with a lot of member changes and stuff. But we had a lot of fun, put out some good music. And this always seems like a good song to start with, you know. Oh, welcome, my friends. Won't you come into my home? Oh, welcome, my friends. The tea is whistling on a juniper fire, so won't you come in? And we'll sit and talk about remember when. So welcome, my friends. There's a warm heart waiting for a knock on the door. There's a smile I'm saving for that story we've all heard before. Oh, time's a wasting. You wouldn't want to be late. There's an extra plate, and we always cook enough for one more. So welcome, my friends. Won't you come into my home? Oh, welcome, my friends. There's that homemade wine we didn't finish last time, so won't you come in? And we'll sing old songs if we remember them. So welcome, my friends. Well, there's an extra room in our home and hearts, so don't you go too soon, 'cause we barely had the chance to start. There's a rising moon, and when the dishes are dried, we can go outside just to breathe the air and stare up at the stars. So welcome, my friends. Won't you come into my home? Oh, welcome, my friends. You know you always stay away too long, so won't you come in? Sometime you'll have to go, but until then, you're welcome, my friends. You're always welcome in my home. Oh, welcome, my friends. What's mine is yours, and back again, so won't you come in? And we'll have a time, we'll remember when. So welcome, welcome, Thank you, thank you. Oh, here's another Tumbleweed song, nice little love song. It's called Endless Night. Well, endless stars are sparkling on a summer night, and if the night were endless too, you know that would be alright. When I'm holding you, you're holding me, and we're holding tight. And I just want to learn to love you with all of my might. Oh, can you see that star falling from the east unto the west? Oh, can you hear my heart a-calling to the one I love the best? Now it's worth hard times and troubles just to feel this way, and if something's been done to deserve it, it's more than I can say. You say the feeling'll go away, well, honey, that's okay. 'Cause if it goes away, I know that it'll be back someday to stay. Oh, can you see that star falling from the east unto the west? Oh, can you hear my heart a-calling to the one I love the best? If I told you we could ride that star across the sky, just riding on forever, just you and I, would you take me for a fool? Would you say I lied? Or would you hold on tight and tell me you'd sure try? Well, can you see star falling from the east unto the west? Oh, can you hear my heart a-calling to the one I love the best? Oh, can you see that star from the east unto the west? Oh, can you hear my heart a-calling to the one I love the best? Thank you, thank you. Well, Tumbleweed put out 3 albums, 4 really. We put out a live album, but 3 studio recorded albums, starting from '78 through 87, I believe. And along in the early 80s, I started doing some home recording, mainly because Tumbleweed played this gig over in Silver Cliff at the Silver Dome over there, and the guy that was running the place was drinking a lot of whiskey and doing a lot of LSD, and those were not really, you know, good things to be doing, and there wasn't enough money to pay the band at the end of the weekend, and he had this 4-track cassette recorder that he said, well, how about if I give you half the money and I'll give you this? And I said, I'll take that. And so I started doing home recordings on this 4-track cassette recorder. And because I was writing songs, and it was nice to be able to kind of sketch them out on that. You know, you can put down a few instruments on it and sort of, you know, then I can present that to the band and sort of say, hey, this is how I think this song might go, etc. And then we would go to a real studio and make the records. But as has always been the case, I would write songs that would not necessarily fit the band, and so I ended up having these songs that I wanted to do something with, and so I started putting out solo collections, solo albums, cassette tapes, whatever, and eventually CDs. So this is one. I'll do a couple of, well, at least one song off of my first one. The first solo album I put out, called Mirage, was recorded on that 4-track cassette recorder that I got from the guy in Silver Cliff. This is a song about loving these mountains, you know, that we love, that we all usually love, sometimes hate, you know, depending on whether you have to drive over Wolf Creek in the winter or something like that. But they are certainly a source of refuge. And it's also about an old fellow that some friends of mine and I used to go visit up in Crestone. An old man that, I don't know, we'd go sit and talk to him and drink really strong bitter coffee and smoke hand-rolled cigarettes, tobacco, and talk about life and things like that. So he's in there too. A little song called Cathedral.
There's an old man I knew up Sand Creek Way, used to ride to his cabin on Sunday. When I asked him if he ever went to church at all, he stood and looked beyond me at the mountains tall. He said, my cathedral is a canyon, my altar is a peak. Mine's cup, the holy water ever flowing in the creek. It's there I find the spirit and the silence that I seek. The cathedral of the canyon on the altar of the peak. Sing out. Said life is a river deep and wide, and no preacher can take you to the other side. You just got to swim from where you are, and if you ain't got wet, you ain't gone very far. And my cathedral is a canyon, my altar is a peak. Mine's got the holy flowing in the creek. It's there I find the spirit and the silence that I seek. In the cathedral of the canyon on the altar of the peak. Sing out. one day I knocked on his door, found he'd crossed that river the night before. I walk his trail, listen for his songs. When I hear his voice, I can't help but sing along. Like my cathedral is a canyon, my altar is a peak. Mine's cup, the holy water ever flowing in the creek. It's that I find the spirit and the words that I must speak. The cathedral of the canyon on the altar of the peak. Singing on. Thank you. Thanks so much. That fellow's name was Glenn Anderson, and he's the guy that told the folks that started the Baca Grande that they should start inviting spiritual groups to locate in Crestone. And Hannah Strong. He told Hannah Strong that she should invite spiritual groups to start locating to Crestone. She started giving land away to them, and that's really how that started. It was old Glenn. Old Glenn was the one that got that whole thing started. Pretty amazing. Well, I see some folks out there that I know are from out in the Waverly and Carmel area. I'm going to do a song I wrote about the old Waverly schoolhouse, the old white, frame, clapboard-sided building out there. I lived out just down the road from that on Road 103 for a couple years in the early 90s, and I used to take walks most mornings, and I'd walk down by that schoolhouse that had been abandoned, and they were, Bosie's or somebody was using the brick school, the newer schoolhouse that they built next to it. But that beautiful old building was just kind of looking sad, and I started writing a song about it, but I could never figure out how to finish it. But then there was a big snowstorm in March of one year, and the roof fell in, and that gave me the third verse. So anyway, sometimes you just got to wait for things to happen. But anyway, this is for you folks from Waverly, Carmel way out there, The paint is peeling off the clapboards, the broken window stare, to the empty playground where laughter filled the air. Now the only sound's a tractor laying barley down, and the farm kids ride the buses 15 miles to town. Now the big old spruce out front is dying of thirst, and the diamond out back is missing home and first. Now the farm kids watch the TVs to see what's going down, and they all wonder why they live so far from town. Now the old folks had a reunion, and the talk was in the air. If something could be done, if the old school could be spared, maybe make it a museum, if the money could be found. Oh, but who would make the drive 15 miles from town? Now the last snow of the winter was heavy and was wet, and something finally gave way that hadn't given yet. Now they've loaded it in dump trucks, and they put it in the ground, and the farm kids ride the buses 15 miles to town. And the old folks wonder why the kids all moved to town. Oh yeah, good old Waverly. I know a lot of people that went to school there, and they swore it was the best school in the world, you know. And yes, I know that it's not 15 miles to town, but 8 just doesn't work as well. Sorry. If you're in Carmel, that's probably 15 miles to town, maybe, you know. Oh, here's another little love song that's on my Lot in Common CD. I started writing this song as I was on the way to my wedding to Miss Terry McCartney. We got married out at the Zapata Ranch, a beautiful place. Beautiful place to get married or do much of anything else. Anyway, a song called Only Be With Me. I would live my life on God's good earth, work in His field till my day is done. I will live my life for all it's worth. Only this I ask, this I will do. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. I would live alone, would ask of me, but the path is steep to walk without you. And so I ask of you to join with me, then the world will see what we can do. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I would be with you. I would follow you through the darkest night to the ends of the earth, back again. I will stand by you through the morning light. Only this I ask, my needs are few. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. I would give my life to you to hold, for if you could not, it could not be done. And truly life cannot grow, so I will not fear the setting sun. If you'll only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Only be with me, and I will be with you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you know, after 40 or 50 years of putting out recordings and writing songs, I can't remember which album, which song was on. I was going to tell you which one the next one. I think it's on my album No Man's Land. But it's a song that, I don't know, I guess it's about maturity in a way that, you know, I can remember being a little kid, and we lived over on Berkeley Avenue, and we had a really nice view out the backyard. There wasn't any houses behind us, and we were only a block or so from the river. And you could see Mont Blanc right out our backyard. And even in third grade, that impressed me. You know, it's like, wow, that's cool. That's a big mountain. And then, you know, as another year or two goes by, and you start to notice, you know, there's mountains over there too. They're pretty cool too. They don't look as big as Mont Blanc because, you know, they're a little further away, but they look pretty cool, you know. And then you see those ones down there, and you go, oh, well, you know. But it was only the high, jagged ones that were really cool, you know. And then you start to look around, and you think, well, you know, those other ones, you know, those ones that aren't quite as high, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool too, you know. They're beautiful too, and then at some point it hits you, you know, the valley's pretty cool too, you know. It's like you start realizing, oh, it's everywhere. Beauty is everywhere, you know, if you can see it. So anyway, that's where this song came from. Another one of many that
that Terry helped me write. It's called Ordinary Things. You wonder and you wander, you search for something fine, just to come full circle to what's been there all the time. In the old wood by the doorway, seen in the setting sun, a quiet conversation when the day is done. In the warm wind through the cottonwoods and the promise that it brings, you have found the magic of ordinary things. You listen to the holy ones, you climb the mountain peaks, but what you looked for was all around, just playing hide and seek in the fresh bread on the table, clear water you can drink, the path down to the river when you need time to think, in the rock found in the driveway on a sparrow's feathered wing. Yes, you're deep into the magic of ordinary things. They're just ordinary things you used to take for granted. You got diamonds in your hands when it was rocks that you planted. It's the dishes after dinner, good book in the chair, some time to count your blessings with someone who really cares, in the quiet winter snowfall or the first new grass of spring. You have found the magic of ordinary. I suppose there really are no ordinary things. Thank you, thank you. Well, I brought all these instruments, and I have to play them all, or they pout, you know. Except Mike Gibson brought me a didgeridoo that's sitting, leaning against that chair back there, and I might not play that one because, you know, not in the plan. You know, we haven't been properly introduced yet, and you know. would seem forward for me to start spitting in it, you know. This is another one off of No Man's Land. It's a song about wandering around in the middle of nowhere, which is one of my favorite things to do. It's kind of a stream of consciousness song, you might say. The words just kind of tumble out. It also is the song that has the most chords in it of any song I've ever written, I'm sure. They just all kind of fly by. I wrote this sitting next to the Rio Grande River down in the Taos Gorge in that state park down there, at what is now the National Monument. I had been walking around on some of the trails that there are down there, and there's some lovely trails, but a lot of them just kind of end. You're walking along and you're up on some kind of ledge up above the river, and then the trail just ends, and you think, I'm not done, I want to keep going. And if you do keep going, you realize, wow, it's a lot more work when you have to think about where you're going, especially if you think I might fall off a cliff if I'm not, you know, if I don't know where I'm going. And somewhere that in that little realization, a light came on, and it was part of this song anyway. A little song called No Borders. Well, I love to look at maps to find where the roads don't go, out beyond the fences to some place that I don't know, out where I don't see no line scratched across this land. There's something there I hunger for and long to understand, and freedom calls so softly that it scares me, talking sweet, then it double dares me. There's no borders on this land I see, no limit to this love, no map to show the way to go, except for what we're dreaming of, no boundary that can hold us back, except what's in our minds, no path to mark our passing, except for what we leave behind. It's a long and winding road to walk, if you must walk alone. Thank you for companionship and all the love we've grown. Oh, we scan the ground for footprints and search the sky for signs. We hope our hearts can find the path we can't see with our minds. Yet here we stand, our directions calling. We take a step, be it flying or falling. There's no borders on this land I see, no limit to this love, no map to show the way to go, except for what we're dreaming of, no boundary that can hold us back, except what's in our minds, no path to mark our passing, except for what we leave behind. Sometimes our lives seem so full of things that we don't need, but to compensate for all that we have lost, but now we see what we really want was missed in the confusion, hid behind trinkets and illusions. There's no borders on this land I see, no limit to this love, no map to show the way to go, except for what we're dreaming of, no boundary that can hold us back, except for what's in our minds, no path to mark our passing, except for what we leave behind. There's no borders on this land I see, no limit to this love, no map to show the way to go, except for what we're dreaming of, no boundary that can hold us back, except for what's in our minds, no path to mark our passing, except for what we leave behind. Thank you, thank you. I think I started that song just a little bit faster than I really wanted it to go, and then I could never quite pull it back, but oh well. I write a lot of what I think of as landscape songs. That last one was certainly one of those, and this is another one. Another song about the incredible beauty that we're surrounded by. You know, I know that there is great beauty everywhere if you have the eyes to see it, but living where we live, it's a lot easier than, than most places. But still, you know, I think you sort of numb out to it after a while, you know. You don't really pay that much attention. Because I think if you did, if you let it all in, you'd just sort of lay on your driveway and quiver, you know, or something. You know, what good would that be? But sometimes it does seem like something bends down and peels off some blinders or something like that, and you're just skewered. I mean, you are just struck dumb by the beauty, you know. And so that's what this song is about. And you know, I could point you to a place on the highway within a few hundred yards of where each of these verses came from. First one was driving just east of Manassas on the way over the road that goes, you know, over to San Luis and there and stuff. And it goes through that bottomland where both the Taos rivers and the San Antonio rivers are flowing almost right next to each other, and it's just so green. And I remember when this first verse kind of came to me that it was at the end of a long winter, back when we used to really have long winters, you know, and it was like I hadn't seen green in forever or something. It was like my soul was thirsty for green, and I looked in this meadow, and it was just, anyway, I'll shut up and sing the song. Yeah.
Flax bluer than the sky, lambs playing like they don't know why they're here. In a meadow so green that it could split me wide open, like I ain't got no skin. Wide open, I just can't take it in. Wide open, Snow runs clear down the mountains to the gray cloud piled up so high. Rain on the sage perfumed like God's first breath. As the rainbow curtain comes down, I swear it splits me wide open, like I ain't got no skin. Wide open, I just can't take it in. Wide open, and so I reach across to touch you, try to tell you how I feel. Then I see your eyes and I know there is no need. All this and more is shining there, and I swear it splits me wide open to the seven seas and four winds. Wide open, I feel it take me in. Wide open, wide open, wide open, wide open. Oh, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Well, obviously, after a song like that, you have to play something a little up-tempo.
This is another one that I think it was also on No Man's Land. It's a song about paying attention. The song started when Terry and I were still living in town over on Alamosa Avenue, and there used to be a 7-Eleven store right on the corner of Alamosa Avenue and Main there, and I used to get gas there a lot. And I was in my old pink pickup truck and running late, to get out of town to head to a gig or something like that. And so this was back when you could actually fill up your tank and then run in and pay for it. And I did that. I filled up my tank, and I was running into the store to pay for it. And I came up to the glass doors with the aluminum handle on it, and hit that, and just bounced off. And I looked down, and it said, "Pull." And that's where this song came from. It's called "Read the Signs."
Well, I pushed and pushed on the door, my pull. I took another bite when I knew I was full. I've taken that road that says wrong way, then found out later they mean what they say. Sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs. Well, I thought I saw forever in a little smile, and then I found out forever was just a little while. I didn't just take the bait, I swallowed the hook. I didn't want to see it, so I didn't look. Well, sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs. Well, they say experience runs a high school, but the only one for a stubborn fool. I can't tie a bow tie, ain't well read, but I'm gonna be a wise man by the time I'm dead. They say life can be heaven, life can be hell, and when you're stuck in the middle, it can be hard to tell. I don't know where we're going, but I guess we'll get there. It's what we're doing down here that's got me scared. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs. Oh, sometimes you gotta take time to read the signs.
thank you, thank you. If I had an electric guitar, I would have hit the fuzz box and been down on my back just no, actually, no, I wouldn't have. Because I wouldn't have been able to get up very easily. I never did that even when I was 17 and not 70, but you know. All right, I'm gonna do another kind of pretty song here and then a few more, and we'll take a break. I like to get up and watch the sunrise. In fact, you know, I post a lot of sunrise pictures on Facebook. One of the most common comments when I'm out running around and, you know, out with the Rifters down in Texas or something like that, or just did a little run with Eliza Gilkison and stuff down there, and one of the most common comments that people won't come up and talk to me is, you know, I think I would love it if they said, boy, I sure like your music, but what they say is, man, I sure like those sunrise photos that you post, and that's fine too, you know. And I said, thank you, you know. And, you know, maybe they like the music, I don't know. They're there anyway, you know, but anyway. But it strikes me oftentimes when I'm watching that sunrise that sunrise will never be repeated, you know. Those water molecules in those clouds, they will never take that shape again in that exact point in time with the exact angle of the sun. And then, you know, you kind of extrapolate from that and you realize that no moment will ever be repeated. You know, it's like we could all agree to meet here next year at the exact same time and wear the same clothes and sit in the same place and I'd play the same song and it'd still be different, you know. I'd make different mistakes, you know, or something, you know, but, and it's like, wow, that's so obvious and yet so amazing to me, you know, anyway. This song is off of my Coming Back from the Dead album, which was called Like Lazarus. And it was after I had stage 4 colon cancer in the year 2007, and was definitely circling the drain there for a while. And but I made it back through the grace of so many friends and you know, my wife and nurses and doctors and so many folks. But anyway, this is one of the songs that came out of that. It's called "There Will Be No Other Day." There will be no other day, exactly like today. There will be no other morning, with the clouds arranged that way, some golden glowing in the sunrise, some lost in shades of gray. There will be no other morning, there will be no other day. There will be no other evening, exactly like this one. Rain shimmers in the distance and hides the setting sun, and each drop is like a lifetime, and each one finds its way. There will be no other evening,
be no other day. There will be no other night just like the one we're in. I will never see the candle paint the same pictures on your skin, and the dance will now begin. Will never again be just the same. There will be no other night. There will be no other day. There will be no other evening. There will be no other day. There will be no other morning. There will be no other day.
Thank you, thank you. Well, along about 1999, a friend of mine down in Taos, he was a DJ down there. Actually, he was a program director at Taos. And he was a great supporter of music, and he would come out and hear. I was in hired hands then, and he would come out and hear us play and stuff. And he came up to me one night and he said, "I think you should put out an instrumental album." And I thought, what? And deprive all these people of my unrelentingly meaningful lyrics? But then I thought about it and says, wow, yeah, that could be cool. And so I did. I just started kind of basically sitting down in front of a recorder with an instrument in my hand and start what I call noodling, which is just letting stuff flow out of my fingers. In fact, I was actually going to call the album Noodles, but that I thought that was slightly undignified, so it ended up being called Instrument. But anyway, I'm going to do a little fiddle tune. Actually, this is a song that has a lot of different instruments on the album, but it sort of works as a fiddle tune. But I found that I really can't sit down and play fiddle. You know, I thought I'd sit down for this concert just because it would kind of change the energy a little bit rather than me sort of looming over you all night. But I've got to stand up to play fiddle. There's a guy named, I don't know if you ever saw John Hartford, but he used to play solo fiddle. Solo fiddle is like really dry wine. It's like drinking the cooking sherry out of your mother's cupboard or something like that. It kind of makes you pucker a little bit. But anyway, John Hartford had a piece of plywood with acoustic pickups in it, and he would dance while he played fiddle and stuff like that. Not me. Oh, thank you. I practiced that song a bunch of times because I never really played it like that. It's a multi-track thing where I put all these instruments together, and I've never played it anywhere remotely close to the same twice in a row. But anyway, okay, I'm going to do just a couple more songs here, and we'll take a break and eat cupcakes. Eat cupcakes. Back in the 1990s, in the last century, I was asked by a friend to consider applying for the Colorado Council on the Arts Artist in Residence program, where you would go into schools and do workshops with kids, and I immediately thought, no way, no way. And I had lots of preconceptions about it, all of which turned out to be wonderfully wrong. And met a whole bunch of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life, and started doing workshops in the Valley schools. This program was run from Denver, of course, and but they had gotten a large grant from somebody to try to sort of transplant this thing that was happening up in the Front Range schools down into the schools in the Valley. And so they were training some local Valley artists and various, not just musicians, but visual artists and everybody to in their sort of methodology, and then we would shadow a teaching artist from up in Denver for a year, and then we would actually start doing our own workshops. And so I did that. I did that for a few years, and it was wonderfully enriching, incredibly challenging, made me appreciate teachers. It's like, God bless teachers. It's like, it felt like, standing up in front of a class, it felt like, being shot with rubber bullets for 6 hours. There's just so much energy coming at you from the kids. It's just like, and to be able to just to make through that. Anyway, it was really wonderful. I did several residencies in Antonito, and I just totally fell in love with Antonito and with the people and the location and the history and the vibe and everything else. And I don't know, I wanted to write something about it, and eventually this song came out. And growing up in the San Luis Valley, I've been so grateful that I grew up in a place that it was sort of multicultural. You know, it had the Hispanic culture, and it had you know, the so-called Anglo culture or whatever that I belonged to. But it was so enriching to have the mix of these cultures, and there's a lot to understand there. And I certainly don't pretend to understand it in great depth even now, but I came to understand it more over the years, and to have a great appreciation for the people in the culture of that, you know, were traditional farmers, and then suddenly they had to deal with this overlay of a different civilization kind of driving over the top of them, and still find a way to live in both worlds and to dance between them. So anyway, somehow or another, all that's wound up in this song. It's called The Streets of Antonito Town. The houses came from the earth, to the earth they will return, when the walls no longer plastered and the woods no longer burned, when a man can no longer pay the taxes on his land his great-grandfather claimed from the King of Spain. Long before this government came with its iron hand, may they live as they have always done, in the land between the mountains and the sun, with the peaceful canals flowing down by the streets of Antonito Town. Michael's back from college with a couple of degrees. Now there's grease up to his elbows and mud up to his knees. He had a job in Denver, oh, but something made him choose to take all that he knew, to see what he could do, to keep something alive he found too valuable to lose. May they live as they have always done, in the land between the mountains and the sun, with the peaceful canals flowing down by the streets of Antonito Town. Well, it's a crazy dance with each foot in a different world, but with 300 years of drought and flood, dust and mud and sweat and blood, they're strong enough to stand on their ancestral land, long after the last train will have steamed around the bend. May they live as they have always done, in the land between the mountains and the sun, with the peaceful San Antonio flowing down by the streets of Antonito Town. May they keep the peace that they've found in the streets of Antonito Town. Thanks so much. I'm going to skip forward a little bit and close out this set with a song that Rifters recorded a few albums back, one we get a lot of requests for. A song about taking the long view. Sometimes it seems like life is just coming at you too fast. There's just too much going on. You can't keep up. And you feel like you want to try to rise above it and get a little bit broader perspective and see what really matters. And that's sort of where this came from. Plus, on the more sort of physical, real world level, when I go places like, I was touring down in Texas and stuff just recently with my friend Eliza Gilkison, and it's beautiful. And there's, we were in the deep piney woods of East Texas, and it's like, wow, that's really beautiful. But after a few days, it's just like I start to twitch or something. It's like I can't see anything. I can't see. I'm used to seeing 50 miles at least, and kind of addictive. Anyway, there's a song called 100 Miles. Like I said, we'll take a break after this. Thank you so much for being, what a marvelous audience. So giving to me. Thank you for your attention and your presence here. Hopefully you can have a cupcake and get you through the next set. And if there's anything you'd like me to play that you think I might know, please feel free to let me know. I'm doing mostly original stuff tonight, but I never know. I could go wherever. I used to be able to fake the words to Louie Louie pretty well, even though you could never understand what they were, but we were sure they were dirty and nasty, but turns out Louie Louie is a calypso song. It's not even dirty and nasty. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, life's got me surrounded. Oh, I feel confounded by the million things somebody thinks that I should do. But I'm just astounded by this place that I found, where what once meant so much can seem so little when the day is through. And I just want to see for 100 miles. I just want to see for 100 miles. I just want to do some things that make me smile. I want to see for 100 miles. I've been told I should deliberate on what I wish to elevate to something that's worth spending my life's hours on. But I seem to deviate from that which most folks consecrate and worship all their days until their days are gone. 'Cause I just want to see for 100 miles. I just want to see for 100 miles. I just want to do some things that make you smile. I want to see for 100 miles. Oh, sometimes the city beckons me, and I sort of reckon I should go see what all of the commotion is about. But when I get to checking, I discover I'm expecting it to chew me up and then just go and spit me out. 'Cause I just wanna save all 100 miles. I just wanna save all 100 miles. I just wanna do some things that make you smile. I wanna see. Well, I wanna see. Well, I wanna see for 100 miles. For 100 miles. For 100 for 100 miles. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the gift of your presence here. I am so honored and just humbled, delighted. Thank you. Grab a cupcake and remember the Howlin Dog Music Group stuff back there. It's all for a good cause, and it's going to help increase the amount of good music in the world. So appreciate anything you can do to help that out, and see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Ruthie. This really is the house that Ruthie built, you know, with a lot of help, but without Ruthie, it would not be here, I guarantee you. All right, well, I think I played too long of a first set, and we probably took too long of a break, so I'll try not to get too carried away in the second set, because, you know, 9 o'clock is bedtime. Like I said, I got hundreds of songs I'd like to play for you, but we'll try to keep it down here. I know we've got some ranching friends here and other folks that work the land. I want to do a rancher song here. This is off the Rifters' most recent album. This came from a conversation that I had with one of my neighbors. And I've just always had such admiration for those that work the land, and you know, they lay it all out there every year. You know, it's just like they're putting it all out, and if it works, great. Yeah, they have a good year, and if it doesn't, well, then they got to figure out a way to try to make it to the next year. Anyway, it's a little song called "The Circle."
Do the same thing every year, so the rancher said, but it's never twice the same, and I never get ahead. I was counting on the snow that never came at all to green up that pasture I replanted in the fall. He stands at the center while the circle spins around, while the calves get born and the water runs down. The circle seems to spin, but it's still where he stands, feeling the rhythm of the seasons pass across his land. He don't get too up about the good years, don't get too down about the bad. Only the cold wind brings a tear, only the old dog makes him sad. Watching new life in his herd, staring out at sunset. It keeps him rising in the dark to see if that heifer's ready yet. He stands at the sun while the circle spins around, while the calves get born and the water runs down. The circle seems to spin, but it's still where he stands, feeling the rhythm of the seasons pass across his land. Oh, the prices are looking good this year. You just might make a buck if the old tractor keeps running and the tires hold on the cattle truck. And maybe the San Juans will get some snow and that Excelsior ditch will fill. Maybe his hopes and dreams can hold on to, maybe they always will. He stands at the center while the circle spins around, while the calves get born and the water runs down. The circle seems to spin, but it's still where he stands, feeling the rhythm of the seasons. Yeah, he stands at the center, the circle spins around, while the calves get born and the water runs down. He stands at the sun while the circle spins around, while the calves get born and the water runs down. The circle seems to spin, but it's still where he stands, watching winter, spring, summer, and fall pass across his land. Thank you. One for the ranchers and the farmers. I'm going to do another song that's on one of the Rifter CDs. This is a song that I started writing when I was on a backpacking trip with my brother Ed, who so thankful that Ed could make it down for this from Longmont. Thanks for being here, brother. We were up camped at Rio Alto Lake, which is one of my very favorite lakes and very, very favorite places up in the Sangre de Cristos. And we were going to camp for a couple nights, and so the second day I was taking a little day hike and walk up to, further up the trail to Hermit Pass. And as I was walking through the very last stand of spruce, I thought I was out of the trees, and then there's one more stand of spruce, and then there was this rock propped up about 10 feet off the trail, and the sun was shining across it, the sun had just come over the ridges, and I could see there was some scratches on that rock, and I walked over to it, and it was a headstone, and it said, B.F. Vance, killed, K-I-L-L-D, October 9, 1913 A.D. And I just wondered, wow, what happened to that guy? What's the story? How did he end up here in this very, very shallow grave, considering it's bedrock about a foot down? What happened to him? You know, and I actually tried to, I asked some people that were into local history and if anybody knew anything about it, and I couldn't ever find out anything, so I figured, well, I'm a songwriter. I'll just make it up, you know. And so this is what I made up, which is the Ballad of B.F. Vance. And I found out years later that my friend Tom Munch, who was very into history, they had digitized the records of the West Cliff newspaper, and it's actually in there where he went off hunting and never came back, and his horse came back without him. My story is a little more colorful. There's a bad guy in there, but, you know, anyway. Goes like this. Oh, and my big brother Ed built this guitar, by the way. It's a joy to play. It sounds beautiful. And if I get so old that I can't remember my name, it's right on the head. It's right on in the neck, right there. You know. When the light is right on the Hermit Trail, you can see the headstone there. The stories scratched into natives don't know, there's few that know okay about what happened up at Timberline in the blood-red Sangre Peaks. B.F. Vance killed October 9. 1909 AD. Bernard Franklin Vance came west in 1892. The railroad had advertised free land and skies of blue. They settled north of Moffett, 80 acres on the creek, raising cattle, wheat and family beneath the snowy peaks. Is it fate or fortune, circumstance, or the cutting of the cards that makes one man's life easy and another one so hard? B.F. Vance couldn't say, couldn't stop to wonder why. He just knew if he didn't work, those he loved would die. Now Crazy Ivan had the diggings up on Hermit Pass, eating mountain sheep and marmot. No one thought he'd last. The assay said the shine was pyrite, mica, and feldspar, but Ivan knew there was gold in there. He just didn't know how far. But 07 brought grasshoppers. The next year there was drought. The wheat barely replaced the seed, and the steers were all shipped out. And it was plain to see without more food the winter would prevail. So B.F. and his Remington went to hunt the Hermit Trail. Now Ivan was no evil man, just had a castle in the air. He'd worked hard as any can, and he was not about to share. And any man with a rifle on his trail was a thief. B.F. Vance killed October 9, 1909 AD. Is it fate or fortune, circumstance, or the cutting of the cards that makes one man's life easy and another one so hard? B.F. Vance couldn't say, couldn't stop to wonder why. He just knew he had to hunt, or those he loved would die. When the light is right on the Hermit Trail, you can see the headstone there. A story scratched into native stone, though there's few that know or care about what happened up at Timberline and the blood-red Sangre Peaks. B.F. Vance killed October 9, 1909.
Oh, thank you. It's still up there, I think. Well, I'm going to do a dog song, because you need a dog song. Because, they just make everything better, Anyway, this song has a rather strange genesis, as many songs do. You never know where they're going to come from. But a few years ago, in 2000, during the pandemic and all, I was having some physical challenges, some weird stuff going on with my body, and ended up being diagnosed with this thing called myasthenia gravis, which is this autoimmune thing that where your body starts attacking itself, and it starts attacking the places where the nerves attach to muscles, which is, as you might guess, not a good thing. And it often affects the eyes first, at least in older males, which I happen to be one of. And so my eyes were not tracking together. I was having severe double vision, and my eyelids weren't able to stay open, and it was kind of a mess. But I was out taking a walk and kind of playing with my eyes, and it's like I would walk with the left eye open, and then I'd walk with the right eye open, and then I'd walk with both eyes open, and I'd see this weird double vision thing. But my brain would still kind of assemble the world. It would still put it together somehow, and I was just amazed that, wow, it's like whatever's going on, I don't know, you can still kind of deal with it. And it made me think of Buddy Wilson's three-legged dog. I don't know how many of you might remember Buddy Wilson. He was a dear friend. I went to school with him. And, he was basically running his parents' ranch at a fairly young age. But he had this three-legged dog named Tres Pies, 3 foot, who was the happiest creature on the planet. Not to mention the most energetic creature on the planet. It was, and it came into my mind. It's like, man, if Tres Pies can do what he did, I can deal with this, whatever. My eyes are a little weird. I'll be all right. And thankfully, I got lined up with some treatment, and thanks to my brother-in-law, Dan Russell, and my brother-in-law, Roy Helms, for saying, you need to do something about that. Anyway, thanks to the love of family and friends, and, I got past that. But meanwhile, old Tres Pies popped up as an example of deal with it. Go chase rabbits, So, anyway, let's see if I can... And I have to thank Dan Russell for consulting with me on this song. One of these verses is straight out of one of the memories that he had of Tres Pies. I would have put his name on it, but I thought that the royalties would put him in a different tax bracket, and then it would just be such a burden for him to have to deal with it. I mean, he would have made $7 or $8, I think, but anyway.
Trace B.A.'s didn't know no better, figured he was just as good as any other critter. He'd be up in the truck at the break of day to check the bird, a bale of hay, 'cause there was work to do, rabbits to chase. Yeah, it's a big job when you own the place. His tongue would flap and his tail would fly. It was pedal to the metal, do or die. Trace B.A.'s didn't pay no mind if it was fair or if it was kind. His paws were dealt, he played his cards when he laid them down. There was nothing but hearts. The coyotes would chase him, he couldn't flee. He'd sit down and face them and they'd let him be, 'cause they could see his heart deep inside, that weren't scared of nothing, that would never hide. He and his partner Piojo would run, chasing the pheasants in the evening sun. Piojo would climb up the big haystacks, and Trace would bark until he came back. And Trace B.A.'s didn't pay no mind if it was fair or if it was kind. His paws were dealt, he played his cards when he laid them down. There was nothing but heart. Yeah, life's gonna shoot some arrows and throw some stones your way. And Trace B.A.'s just went for the marrow in the bones of every day. Yeah, Trace B.A.'s didn't pay no mind if it was fair or if it was kind. He just played the pause that he had in 3/4 time, through the good and the bad, just wagging his way with everything he had. Oh, yeah. Tres pies. Here's a little love song that I put on my most recent solo album, which is a double CD called All That I Hold Dear. And it was kind of, it's like, you know, when you get out of school in your 3rd grade, and then when you come back to 4th grade, you have to write a paper on what you did on summer vacation. This album was like, this is what I did on COVID vacation, when all the gigs went away for a year. I put out that double album, wrote a bunch of songs, and this is one that came out for that. It's a little love song called Another Language. I need another language when I talk to you. The words have gotten faded, they've been so overused. You're beautiful, I love you, will no longer do. I need another language to speak of loving you. I need another language of light and shooting stars, of morning mist and gossip, of feather touch upon the heart of cataclysmic silence, the soul's poetry. I need another language to speak of you and me, like the laughter of the water, the singing of the sea, the music of the morn, the evening's mystery. I need another language to catch the phoenix as it flies, the spark of living luminance dancing in your eyes, the treasure of a trusting heart, the gifts of far above. I need another language to speak of such a love. I need another language. Oh, thank you. Don't be scared. I know, it's probably time for a banjo joke, but I haven't heard any good ones lately, so. Say that again? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were making fun of me. Yes, my dear band members, when I was having trouble with my eyes, they all got like Roy Orbison sunglasses, you know. I mean, you know, what are band members for? This is a song about, this is a love song too, but it kind of features some of those crazy spring break partiers, the Sandhill Cranes. They're fall break partiers too, you know. In fact, they've just really, I think there's probably still some around, that most of them have left for the southerly, for the big party down on the Bosque del Apache wildlife refuge. But they are my favorite sign of spring, you know. That first time when you hear the cranes, a lot of times they're still so high up you can hardly even see them, but you can hear those voices, that weird call that they do. And especially back when we used to have the long, brutal winters, it was like, there's hope. Spring is going to get here. Anyway, so that's sort of where this came from. Today I caught the scent of earth as if for the first time, and the cranes are calling me from far above. I watched you throw open the window to the warm breeze, and I give thanks for life and for your love. Like the cranes that still return from the bosque to bring the spring back up the Rio Grande, like the water that runs down to the acequia to spread the green across the bottom land, like the quickening of life and light return, call the seed to awaken and grow. So your love for me is like the springtime and the sunshine that melts the winter snow. I've been alone and I've seen the winter, but now I got another chance. Spring has come and I can start anew. And as the earth circles the sun and their never-ending dance, I give thanks the one I spin around is you. Like the cranes that still return from the bosque to bring the spring back up the Rio Grande, like the water that runs down to the acequia to spread the green across the bottom land, like the quickening of life and light returning, cause the seed to awaken and grow. So your love for me is like the springtime and the sunshine that melts the winter snow. As long as the blood still fills the rivers in this body, and I can find the breath to speak your name, I will celebrate the seasons of this lifetime that are the rhythms of the song our love proclaims. Like the cranes that still return from the bosque to bring the spring back up the Rio Grande, like the water that runs down to the acequia to spread the green across the bottom land, like the quickening of life and light returning that cause the seed to awaken and grow. So your love for me is like the springtime and the sunshine that melts the winter snow. Yes, your love for me is like the springtime and the sunshine that melts the winter snow. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Banjo lovers, I knew I liked you guys, you know. Let's see. I've got to look at my set list because I got too many songs on it. I'm going to try a request here. This is a Rifters song that
My buddy Rod Taylor usually sings the first verse, and I don't think I've ever played it by myself. Just a second, let me check the tuning on this. We're fortunate to live just, I don't know, third of a mile from the Rio Grande out here, northwest of town. And I don't know, there's just something about a river, you know. It just, you can walk down there and it just kind of send all your troubles on down to Espanola or someplace downstream. This is kind of a love song to the Rio Grande. It's called "Before the Great River Was Tamed." If you read the descriptions of the first people that wrote anything down about the Rio Grande, you can't help but think, "Wow, I wish I could have seen that." And that's sort of where this came from. Well, I like to walk down to the river, sit and watch it flow, this thread of life from the mountains to the desert down below. Its waters feed the farms and the people in the town. It's divided and conquered, low and beaten down. But I sure wish I could have seen it, spread for miles wide, flocks of birds are flying, herds of game on either side. Yeah, I wish I could have seen it before the white man came, before the dams and the ditches, before the great river was tamed. I see the pastures and the fields as I head back into town. This quilt of many colors, emerald, gold, and brown. And I know there's no returning to the way it used to be. For time marches ever onward like a river to the sea. But I sure wish I could have seen it,
in a spring rage, bursting from the canyons like a lion from a cage. Well, I sure wish I could have seen it before the civilized men came, for the dams and diversions, before the great river was tamed. Thank you so much. Well, I've noticed that as I've gotten older, that I write more songs about getting older. So I was thinking I'd do this one. I mean, after all, here we are celebrating my 70th birthday. I mean, if you can't play a song about getting older, then when can you play a song about getting older, you know? But, you know, we all experience these things where things don't work quite like they used to, you know, and some part of your body that, well, it was just fine yesterday, what happened, you know? And, well, you know, if you never did anything and you lived in a bubble, well, maybe that part wouldn't have gotten damaged or worn out, but we don't do that. We do stuff, you know. We work, we play, we run around, we do stuff, you know, and that's why those things happen, I think, you know. Anyway, little song called "It's 'Cause You Lived." You look in the mirror and wonder why the hair is gray, the skin is lined, and the eyes are tired from all they've seen. They've lost some vision and some dream. Well, it's 'cause you lived. It's 'cause you took the chance and did the dance, 'cause you didn't shirk the duty or the work. And if you didn't guess, you said yes, and you gave everything you had to give. It's 'cause you lived. The back talks back as you get out of bed, and the knees speak of every chase you led. You wonder why your heart is so steady for so long. is now dancing to some different song. Yes, 'cause you live, it's 'cause you took the chance and did the dance, 'cause you didn't shirk the duty or the work. And though you couldn't guess, you said yes, and you gave everything you had to give. It's 'cause you live. Wisdom knows less and less, and more you're unimpressed. Yet you still fall for the eyes of a child, for that part of you still young and wild. Yes, 'cause you live, 'cause you took the chance and did the dance, 'cause you didn't shirk the duty or the work. And though you couldn't guess, you said yes, and you gave everything you had to give. It's 'cause you live. Yes, we did, ladies and gentlemen. We lived. I'm going to do a couple of original Christmas songs or holiday songs, and then maybe a couple more after that, and call it a night. I'm sorry I've kept you up so late. I know, bedtime. Bedtime is a real thing. But anyway. And once again, what a treasure to have you here. Thank you so much for being part of this with me. I'm so honored, and I tried not to be too scared that you all showed up, But anyway, I think it was a couple years ago. I put out a Christmas album with my friend David Clemmer, and. Yeah, and this song I'm going to play isn't on that one. The next one is. But I have plans to put out another Christmas album at some point in the future, rather than the past year. But this is a song that Terry wrote the lyrics to, and I set it to music, and. I love what it says, that this is the time of the dark, the solstice, when the shortest days, and that's why we have these things like Christmas lights and wood stove fires in the wood stove, to hold the light until the light returns. So. She gets home from work, 4:30 and dark. Plugs in the Christmas lights on the tree and mantelpiece. She blows on the embers, hoping they'll spark. And the house lights up, bringing joy and peace. And she loves Christmas time, carols and good cheer, hoping friends and family can all gather near. Though the days are short, the world continues to turn. She needs the Christmas lights until the light returns. He wakes at 5:30, long before dawn. The house is chilly, the wood stove needs fare. He sits in silence, the curtains are drawn. Warmed by the fire as the sky turns to red. And he loves Christmas time, carols and good cheer. Friends and family all gathered near. Though the days are short, he's got wood to burn. He needs the firelight until the light returns. Solstice days are dark and cold. We need the light to see what unfolds. And they love Christmas time, carols and good cheer. Friends and family all gathered near. Though the days are short, they begin to turn. They need the Christmas lights until the light returns. They need the Christmas lights until the light returns. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right. Well, here's the Christmas song that's on the Richmond and Clemmer. This got started when I was Terry and I were decorating the tree, and you know, it's really easy to get jaded and burned out and down on life in general, and you know, Christmas specifically, or all of that. And it's you know, there's lots of opportunity to think all those thoughts like, oh, it's just a bunch of materialistic crap, or whatever, you know, or whatever those thoughts might be. And but it's like, yeah, can you find that magic one more time? And that's basically where this song came from. I see the faces of the angels as we decorate the tree, and ornaments of Christmas past that mean so much to you and me. Snowmen and smiling Santas, light and tinsel all entwined, all seem to ask the question now running through my mind. Can I make room for the magic? Can I open to the light? Like the hope of the morning star rising out of darkest night. Can I find it in my heart? Like the birth of the child with the eyes that shine, full of light divine. Can I make room for the magic one more time? The world can seem so dark, strife and struggle all around. It's so easy to despair when no pathway can be found. It seems to lead back to the light, to something simple and so pure. And I wonder as I wonder if the beauty can endure. Can I make room for the magic? Can I open to the light? Like the hope of the morning star rising out of darkest night. Can I find it in my heart? Like the birth of the child with the eyes that shine, full of light divine. Can I make room for the magic one more time? Can I get there once a year, or at the sunrise every day? Could I always walk within it? Could it always light my way? Can I make room for the magic? Can I open to the light? Like the hope of the Christmas star rising out of darkest night. Can I find it in my heart? Like the birth of the child with the eyes that shine, full of light divine. Can I make room for the magic one more time? Can I make room for the magic one more time? Thank you, thank you. And I don't know about you, but yeah, I can do it one more time. You know, maybe even more. Okay, I'm gonna do two more. We'll do a rouser and then and then a different one. This is a song that Terry and my buddy Rod from the Rifters wrote most of, and I contributed a little bit, and so did Jim, the other Rifters member. It's a song about the danger of overexposure to the 24-hour news cycle that'll make you crazy. Life is actually a beautiful thing, regardless of what you might have heard. Get together with your friends and neighbors, go outside, it's still a beautiful thing. A little song called I Got News for You. Turn the banjo down just a little bit because I might get excited. I'm not sure. I used to wake up in the morning to the news on NPR, listen to the turmoil both near and far. Each night at 6 o'clock I'd watch the news on CBS, but everything I saw was making me a mess. I got news for you. Yeah, I got news for you. Let's turn it off, let's go outside. The world is far more beautiful than the news implies. I got news for you. I got news for you. Let's turn it off, don't take the bait. Let's see the good in fellow souls and leave behind the hate. If the news is all we're seeing, the world is burning down. Big bucks with greed are eating us right into the ground. Of course we don't want to be naive and blind, but if the news is all we're seeing, love is hard to find. I got news for you. I got news for you. Let's turn it off, let's go outside. The world is far more beautiful than the news implies. I got news for you. I got news for you. Let's turn it off, don't take the bait. Let's see the good in fellow souls and leave behind the hate. Nothing good in what the news is paid to report. We see with our own eyes that life is too short. I got news for you. I got news for you. Let's turn it off, let's go outside. The world is far more beautiful than the news implies. I got news for you. I got news for you. Let's turn it off, don't take the bait. Oh, this ain't new, let's go to bed. We got no time to hate. I got news for you. I got news. I got news. I got news. I got news. Thank you. I almost got excited. I was trying to be just slightly subtle, and boy, you know, it just didn't work. You have to go for it. Anyway, I'm going to do one more. This it's an older song that I wrote with the two members of the band Hired Hands.
Eddie Lee Bullington, and Jim Bradley, and some other folks contributed to this too. It was actually started after hours at the Old Dillon Inn, which was a legendary bar up in Summit County, Silverthorne, by Eddie Lee and two of the bartenders. They were staying up after hours, sampling the wares or whatever, and started writing this song. Eddie Lee brought it back to the studio, and we added another verse and a bridge and all that, and some other people contributed some ideas, and sort of written by the collective unconscious, you might say, but it really came out pretty cool. It's a song about the wonder of it all, the glory of creation, particularly in our part of the world. We're so lucky that we can live where we do. I don't know if you've been out there in the real world lately, but it's kind of nuts out there, I'm so grateful to be here with you all in our good old San Luis Valley, Tell you what. This is a sing-along. It's real easy, though. Don't worry. I'll teach you your parts when we get there. Mountains and mesas, valleys and peaks, southwestern sunset, twilight mystique. I am no stranger, I am one with this land. That high-flying eagle knows me by heart. Of all that I witnessed, I am a part. I am no stranger, I am one with this land. There's a lesson, if you listen, you will learn. It's a blessing we are given to discern. There's no words to define the grand design. When you shake the hands of time, the deep roots and branches, the earth and the sky, bind them together. Now I know why they seek to show me that we are one with this land. The seeds I have planted now grown so tall. May wisdom find them, may they hear the call of the high-flying eagle. We are one with this land. But here I stand, surrounded by this mystery. Let me know, no matter where I go, I'm not alone. There's a lesson, if you listen, you will learn. It's a blessing we are given to discern. There's no words to define the grand design. When you
shake the hands of time. When you shake the hands of time. The mountains and mesas, valleys and peaks, southwestern suns, twilight mystique, the deep roots and branches, the earth and the sky, bind them together. Now I know why I'm no stranger. I'm one of this land. Well, I'm no stranger. I'm one of this land. Okay, here comes the sing-along part now. Okay, so this half of the audience, I want you to sing this part. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na na na. That's it. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na na. Sounds great. One more time, a little louder. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na na. Okay, you keep going. Now, this half of the audience, I want you to sing this. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na na. Just you guys. Yeah. One more time. Now you guys keep going. I'm going to sing something different. Well, I am no stranger. Yeah. Well, I am no I'm Don Richmond, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to play for you tonight. What a gift to have you here. I'll tell you, I'm speechless. I haven't. This is just more beautiful than I could possibly imagine. I mean, I think I'm going to wake up and this will all be a dream. But anyway, thank you. I love you one and all. You know, I mean, I love being part of this community with you. Let's keep it going. What do you say? Thanks again. And I promise not to invite you back from my 80th, okay? You won't be able to remember anything.